Well, after the disasters that was in Avengers, nobody expected anything from the Guardians of the Galaxy. And well, I'm really happy that all of us were wrong about that. And in this video, we'll be discussing whether Guardians of the Galaxy is actually worth it to buy right now, or whether you should ignore it like you should within Avengers. So, without further ado, let's just get it started. This is actually one of the newer games that I'm reviewing on this channel. It's been out like not that long ago, but yeah, still, it's a game that I wanted to play. I played it, so yeah. Let's discuss whether it is worth it or not. And as always, I'm gonna be giving you the answer right away, and the answer is this. Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy is absolutely worth it to buy, but there is a caveat with that we should discuss in this video. So let's just get started. So if you're here, you probably have heard about this game and have heard that it's actually pretty good, but is it though? And if yes, why? Guardians of the Galaxy, or rather full name is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, is an action-adventure game where you play as, well, Guardians of the Galaxy. But to be fair, you're playing only with one of the Guardians. You're playing as a Star-Lord. It's a narrative-driven action-adventure game, and well, gameplay-wise, it's a third-person shooter. You play as a Star-Lord, and the game starts when you need to fulfill one of the contracts to capture one of the monsters for basically a bounty. And well, as always, things go wrong, etc, etc. Of course, there won't be any spoiler for this game. And if you liked Guardians of the Galaxy movies, or overall the characters of the comics, well, you will feel very familiar in this game. Granted though, these Guardians are actually not the same Guardians as in the movies. These are actually based more on comics. And the story-wise is not exactly the same as a movie. As an example, I don't think that it's a spoiler, but as an example, the Star-Lord is actually not the son of Ego Living Planet. His father is actually someone different. But before we're gonna get to the story of this game, without of course any spoilers, let's discuss actual gameplay and how actually it, well, plays. And first, let's discuss how it looks, because the looks is the first thing that you will see in this game, and this game looks simply amazing. I completed the game on my Xbox Series S, but I also played a little bit on a PC as well. Well, my PC is not a top of the line and it did not look as great, but on Xbox, even on Series S, it looked superb and gorgeous, and game is just amazing looking. If you play the games for their looks, and I know that there are a lot of you out there, you're going to enjoy this game thoroughly. This game is beautiful in every step of the way. The characters, the animations, the environment is simply top notch, and you are going to enjoy this a lot. At least your eyes will. All the locations are superb and they have insane details, and that's the thing that you will need to see if you want to, well, experience the high graphics and high fidelity games. But what about the gameplay, how it plays? As you may understood, it's a linear game. It's not an open world. You're going through different levels, progressing through the game through 16 chapters. Yes, there are 16 chapters in the game. And all of the chapters usually take you through the different spots, even though some places are actually repeated. Not a lot though, there is actually reason why you go back. And as for gameplay and shooting mechanics, well, that's where the game is actually, well, a bit weak. I usually talk about the weak parts near the end of the discussion, but I need to address it right here. The game is not, well, as good in a gameplay as, well, I wanted, or at least it's not as good as the story or as the environments are. You play as a Star-Lord, and if you have seen the movies and like two pistols that Star-Lord is actually carrying, this is an only weapon that you're carrying, and those weapons are, well, incredibly, how can I say, weak. You're basically playing with the pea shooters, and you cannot significantly damage basically anyone. Yes, as you progress through the game, you also unlock different elemental attacks like electricity attacks or ice attacks or fire attacks, which have a different status effects on the enemies, but usually those are just that, status effects. You're freezing the enemies in one spot, or you're just setting them on fire or electrocuting them, and well, that's just it. And basically that means that you're incredibly weak. Thankfully, all your other companions, all the other guardians are much more useful. Every single guardian, including yourself, have also a set of, well, abilities that you can use. Each one of you can up to 4, and you are unlocking them as you go through the game. But the abilities of your companions are, well, much stronger and much better, and used in tandem, they actually allow you to create an insane combos and just devastate practically anyone. As an example, Rocket can shoot grenades that can kill a lot of enemies all at once, or Rocket can actually have a crowd control grenade which suspends a bunch of enemies in air or with an ultimate attack can whip out a giant gun and just destroy everyone on the level. While Groot has more like crowd control attacks that can actually keep multiple enemies at one place or kind of heal you as well. Drax and Gamora are purely melee based, while Drax can actually attack multiple enemies at once, while Gamora deals a huge devastating attacks against one enemy. And you can control their attacks and their abilities while you are in a combat. You can choose different targets and just combine and mix and match those attacks. Unfortunately, all of those attacks per character have a shared cooldown, including yourself, and this, well, makes game a bit slow. Even though there are a lot of things happening on a combat, and the combat is actually not, well, boring. To be fair, you yourself as a character, Star-Lord, you are doing basically no damage, and your goal is basically to just command other Guardians to kill the enemies. Basically, it's more like a tactical strategy for you than it is in any type of shooter. There's also huddle mechanics where you can actually stop the combat, get all of your companions to you, and just choose like a mini game type of an inspirational speech which can boost their health, which can decrease their cooldowns and increase their damage. I didn't mind that mechanics, but sometimes it would just stop your combat like way too frequently and just way too abruptly. But yeah, overall the combat is, well, mediocre at best. But what is great and what I loved in this game is the story and the characters. And my god, here game is actually killing it. All the Guardians are fleshed out in their insane manner. They're very, very detailed. All of them have their own backstory, and as you progress through the game and actually between the combats, there are also kind of like exploration sections, and usually during these exploration sections, almost all the time someone is speaking, telling you something is either a joke or the past story or things like that, and it's actually very interesting and fun to listen to. And for that reason, entire game has literally no dull moment story-wise. Everything has its reason, everything has its place, every character is developed and fleshed out on an insane level, and it's actually very fun to listen. And you see how the characters are developing from the very first chapter to the very last chapter. And if you want to understand where the characters are, well, in relation to each other, well, it's very close to where they were at the beginning of the second movies. Guardians are actually a team, but they're not family yet. They don't trust each other yet, and they don't trust each other's decision, and they're constantly bickering, constantly abusing each other, constantly going against each other's decisions. And it might seem annoying at first, but for me, it was pretty realistic and pretty, well, interesting how to see how these characters actually would develop in relation to each other. By the end of the game, well, they're a team and they're family, and it's actually very great to see. The story itself is, well, nothing insane and nothing like we haven't seen. It's a story of, well, big bad guys trying to destroy everything and you need to stop it. That's basically what it is. But because of the characters and how they develop throughout the entire game, it's actually insanely interesting and very cool experience through and through. It will take around 20 to 25 hours to complete the game. Well, if you're doing it faster, you can complete it in like 12. Throughout the entire game is not stopping and it's not decreasing its speed. It's insanely interesting and insanely fun, and this is the thing that you need to experience, especially if you are anything Marvel fan. And this game just actually shows what Marvel games could be, and this is probably one of the first good Marvel games in years. And yeah, not counting Spider-Man, of course. Yeah, Spider-Man was great too. But is it worth it? Should you buy it or not? So let's discuss that. So game is available on Steam for the base price of $59.99 for tier 1 countries and $49.99 for tier 2 countries, and it can go as low as $29.99 for tier 1 countries and $24.99 for tier 2 countries. However, game is also available on Microsoft Store, and it's also available on a Game Pass as well. And that's actually how I played this game. I got it on Game Pass. But now, since I've completed the game through and through, would I pay full price for this game? Well, to be fair, this game was great every single second that it was providing, but yeah, I would not pay $60 for this game or $50 for this game. But it's just me. Again, I'm very cheap gamer, and for me, $60 for the game is, well, a kind of expensive no matter what game it is, unless it can provide like hundreds of hours of experience. And here for 25, maybe 30 hours, if you want to complete it 100%, 30, maybe 35 hours, it's just simply not worth it, the price. It's It's just what it is. It's just what I think. However, this game is actually 100 worth it to purchase the Game Pass for. Yes, I highly, highly, highly suggest you to get the Game Pass either on PC or on Xbox, whatever you will have, whichever you have, or we can just go and get an Ultimate if you want them both. Get this game, just get the game on a Game Pass, play it, and well, if you want to continue the Game Pass, then yeah, continue the Game Pass. But if you don't, that's it. That's 100% worth it. I think the first month of a Game Pass you can get them for just $1. So yeah, this is simply must have. And if you do have a Game Pass, this is 100% not just worth it to play. This is the must play. This is one of the best games on the Game Pass, and you must play it because you're gonna enjoy it very, very, very much. Plus, did I say that this game has no microtransaction and no multiplayer, no nothing? It's simply a single player game through and through, and it's, well, for some it's bad, it doesn't have multiplayer, but for me it's actually a pretty great experience. And for some it's actually a deal breaker that you cannot play with other Guardians, but to be fair, for me, story-wise, it actually makes sense. Yeah, I would love to play as other players just in a game, but the story-wise, it actually makes sense for you to play as a Star-Lord only, because it just puts you in the Star-Lord's pants in every step of the way. And that's actually, I think, is the correct decision. Overall, my verdict is this. Guardians of the Galaxy is a great game, and it's 100% worth it to purchase the Game Pass for, even just to complete this game only. And as for buying it standalone, for $30, yes, for $30 it's absolutely worth it, because for $30 you are getting 30 hours of the game. And yeah, you're going to enjoy every single second of those 30 hours. So get the game, play it, enjoy it. Well, this will be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Which was the last Marvel game that you played, and did you enjoy it or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.